Okay, hey there. Today I'm going to talk about pets and how to take care of them. First and foremost, you must know pets will be expensive if you take care of them correctly. Now let's start off with toads. Toads are fairly easy to take care of. Right now I'm talking about terrestrial toads. And and boo. So I guess the first thing you guys would want to know is temperature. Now, temperature is very important. It's very crucial. I'd say for any southern toad, any toad from southern parts of the United States or any place around the same temperature of the southern parts of the United States, I would start off with maybe 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity. Humidity isn't as important with terrestrial toads, especially from the southern part of the United States. Mostly because it's not really that humid here. But if it is, they like it. If it isn't, doesn't really matter to them. Substrate. I would stick with, for toads, Eco Earth with a bit of calcium sand mixed in. And also, you could use forest moss. It would work fine. I guess that's for the substrate. Food. For food, you would probably want to stick with either mini mealworms or pinhead crickets for a toad about, maybe a toad about that size. Pinhead crickets to larger crickets, maybe small mealworms. Toad about that size, you can feed them anything under an inch. Okay, so that's, 10-gallon tank for about 3 toads this big. Maybe 20-gallon tank for 1 toad that big. And they are pretty social as long as they're not a huge size difference, because if they're a huge size difference, they will eat each other, because toads are, for the most part, not above cannibalism. Okay, so I would keep 1 or 2 plants in their tank, just for the oxygen, extra oxygen. Oh, and they will need a UVA and UVB light. UVB can be on as long as you want. Of course, they are pretty expensive, so I wouldn't leave them on forever. UVA, maybe 30 minutes. You can get a timer for them to time the amount of times. Yeah, that sounded horrible. Anyway, so you can get a timer and set times to when you want the light to go on and off. Let's see, sort of covered lighting. Tank size. Again, 10 gallons for maybe 3 small toads. I guess let's move on to turtles. When I'm talking about turtles, I'm talking about cooters, map turtles, small snapping turtles, and red-eared sliders, along with some other types of sliders. Food, I would stick with pinhead crickets, small crickets, large crickets, anything that moves and has meat. Because small turtles are usually, for the most part, carnivorous. Interesting fact, they start off carnivorous and then mature, and when they mature, they become more herbivorous, if you're talking about sliders. Snapping turtles, on the other hand, are always carnivorous. You could feed them minnows, anything. Back to toads. Always use conditioned tap water, because unconditioned tap water and distilled water are both very bad for them and may as well kill them. Another thing that kills them is stress, so don't handle them much. I'd use conditioned tap water for both turtles, hermit crabs, and, for hermit crabs, turtles, any small pet. Forgot where I was. You are going to need tap water conditioner. I use Aquasafe, but you can use several different kinds. You can use AquaSafe, this little bottle right here. Because what happens with toads is they have something called osmoregulation, where they absorb nutrients through their water, and distilled water is completely dilute and will disrupt their osmoregulation. And then also, I hate to say it, but tap water will kill them because the chlorine will completely jack up their bodies. Same for toads and turtles and hermit crabs. Now, back to turtles. I'd probably buy maybe 5 gallons per inch of the turtle, and hold on just a second. Here you go. Okay, and okay, and then I would. Where was I? Oh yeah, turtles. So tank size around 5 gallons per inch of the turtle. Yeah, they are expensive. I would definitely use a UVA heat lamp, 12 hours a day. If possible, a UVB. UVB would be great, but UVA is most necessary. And also, I would definitely use a filter. Filters will be a lifesaver. Trust me. Trust me. Let's move on to hermit crabs. Hermit crabs need. Oh wait, back to turtles. They will need a temperature of 80 degrees, 80 to 90 degrees on their basking spots, or air temperature, and then 70 to 80 degree water temperature. Okay, now moving on to hermit crabs. Hermit crabs, they will need a humidity of 65 to 70% and a temperature of 70 to 72%. 70 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know much else about them, other than food, any any store-bought hermit crab food, or as a treat, romaine lettuce and iceberg lettuce, any vegetables. Now moving on to poison dart frogs and tree frogs. Most poison dart frogs and red-eyed tree frogs are arboreal. That means they live up in trees. So you're going to need maybe a 10-gallon tank for about 3 poison dart frogs and 1 red-eyed tree frog. Feed them pinhead crickets or flightless fruit flies. Substrate, I'd use moss to keep it nice and humid. Humidity, 80% minimum. Temperature, 72 to 75. 80 is acceptable. Well, no, 80 isn't acceptable. 75 is the max. Also, you are going to need a glass lid. A glass lid will provide prevented ventilation, which will keep the humidity up. Substrate, moss, keep the humidity up. And then you're going to need vines. Vines are very crucial. They help them live up in the arboreal parts of the tank, the higher parts. And again, water dish is necessary for all animals that don't already live in water. And I guess that's all. If you want to talk about anything else, if you want me to inform you on any other pets, just write it in the comments. I always check. Peace out.